In this video, we're going to talk about how you can negotiate your salary like a pro. Whether you're starting a new job, you're seeking a raise or promotion, or you simply want to increase your earnings, negotiating your salary can be a good way, an effective way to boost your earning income. Negotiating your salary really is an art that requires good strategy, good research, as well as you need to be prepared for whatever they may ask. So let's jump right into this. Hey, what's up guys? My name is Chase and this is a Penny Pincher's Guide to Personal Finance. We put videos out like this to help you get to your first million really quickly. If you do like this video and you do get some good benefit from it, then hit that like and that subscribe button. If you don't like it, then hit that dislike button so that we know what to make moving forward. So we'll jump right into it. So before you go and ask to negotiate your salary moving forward, you need to make sure that you know what's going on with your job and your job market. So in the beginning, it's essential that you do the research so you know what you're going to be asking for. You need to know what's happening with your industry and your job market. You need to know what local companies are paying their employees that are doing a similar job to you. And then you need to know if they have the same skill set and what you can bring to the table that would justify having an increase in your salary. What I would recommend is do a quick search online when you're looking on Glassdoor or on other places like PayScale, where they're going to be able to tell you what the average amount of money somebody in your particular job is going to be making, and then you can use that to then adjust or change depending on what you're looking for. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is when it comes to negotiating your salary, you need to know and be comfortable with what skills you have and what you are going to be bringing to the table. You need to know what your worth is, and you need to know how that's going to contribute to the company and overall increase your value in that company. If you know the skill set that you have is specific to yourself and that can contribute to the company's success, then you need to let that employer know that that's what you have and that's what you're bringing to the table. If you've already had a successful job at that previous employer and this is something that has set you apart, then you need to make sure that you let that employer know that this is something that you have brought to the table and something that you really are set apart from your other competitors out there, and that's why they're going to need to pay you a little bit more. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is that you need to be prepared to come forward with a target salary, and if that doesn't work, you need to be a little bit flexible. You need to remember that this is going to be a give and take relationship, and if you're coming forward with a particular target and you don't have any wiggle room from that point, then they might not be able to accommodate that, and it might not be because they don't want to, it might just be that financially speaking they might not be able to. So you need to find a target point that you're okay, that you want, but you'd be okay somewhere above or somewhere below that. And in the end, you're coming forward and looking for a compromise that's going to be mutually agreeable between the two parties. And I also want to talk about how it's not just about the salary, but it's also about the perks, the benefits that come along with the job as well. If they're not willing to budge on the salary that you're getting, then you might want to ask them to add in a couple extra vacation days or potentially a different work agreement or flexibility that will give you that difference in the amount of money, but in a different form outside of that salary. There's all kinds of different things that you can ask to be included in your salary, not just your vacation days, but you can also talk about your particular work hours as well as like perks that come along with it and benefits. So if you're not reading that salary point, there are other things that they can adjust. Just because the financials won't work doesn't mean that you can't make that job work for you. All right, the next thing that I want to talk about is timing is critical when it comes to getting your salary and negotiating it. Be sure to find the right time to bring up that topic. Avoid discussing that topic during the initial interview or before they've actually extended you a job offer. I would recommend waiting until you get that job offer in hand and you've had time to review it and come and formulate up with a good plan for your negotiating. You'll also have to take into consideration your previous employer, if it's a good time to leave that company, because doing that you may burn some bridges moving forward, and you want to make sure that you're leaving your employer in good sights and moving into your new employer with a good thought as well. And then the next thing I want to talk about is having all this research and finding out the right timing and then coming forward with that negotiating offer. You need to make sure that you have practiced this and you know exactly what you're going to say when you move forward to talk to your new employer about negotiating your salary. And practicing what you're going to say before you move forward and talking with them. So doing this as a run through with a friend that can then give you some feedback and even ask some questions on why they think that we are worth that to the company and why they should be paying us more. It would be useful to make sure that you are ready for any questions that the employer may throw at you. And then I also want to note that this is not going to be like a confrontation speaking between you and the employer. It's going to be a conversation, and it's going to be one that's going to be come to an agreement together. And if you can't come to an agreement, then that's not going to, then you'll part ways that way. But if you do come in agreement, then that's really what it is going to be. It's a conversation coming to agreement to establish the worth that you are to that company. It's very important to be respectful as well as professional, and you should always listen to what the other part of the conversation is being said so that you can respond to it appropriately. Negotiating your salary can be a scary prospect, but if you approach it appropriately with the correct amount of research and respectfulness associated with it, then it can be a rewarding experience. I want to remind you that you should do your research, you should know your worth, be flexible, choose the right timing, and then practice your pitch to ensure that you are getting the best negotiation possible. And by following these steps, you will be on your way to negotiating your salary like a pro. If you're interested in more videos like this, there will be a link up here to a playlist that you can go ahead and look through. If you want more stuff like this, then subscribe and like the videos. And as always, I want to remind you that we are here from your first penny to your first million. We'll see you next time.